Eliza's text yet, Ben. I don't see
Here we
anything.
go. I think,
Okay.
and now we are live. Okay, fantastic. Apologies for that delay, folks. We actually started on time, and as you can tell, this is my first time doing this stream, and I unfortunately cocked it up a little bit. So now we're here. Now I don't need to give that lengthy introduction that I was giving as I waited for people to file in. TLDR is I'm Ben, filling in for Ken, who's off this week spending some time with his family. And I'm here to marketing lead here at elizaOS, and here taking over for today and perhaps for the next couple of demos, these fantastic builder demos. Obviously been a long time viewer of them. They're something we really want to ramp up more as an organization, as Eliza Labs, just really showcasing all the cool stuff that people are building with, for, and around Eliza. Yeah, really stoked to get to be a part of this today, even if I do have a few things to learn, like how to start the stream on time. But without further ado, I'll hand it over to Nash to give a quick intro, and then walk us through what they built at DeQuant.
All right. Thanks for that, Ben. I'm Nash. I've been building in AI for about 10 years now. I built a. Can you hear me, Ben? Can you hear me all right? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, there seems to be a little bit of lag. Can you hear me? Hello?
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, okay. So
It all sounds good.
Yeah, so there seems to be a huge lag here, Ben. I'm not sure if it's on StreamYard.
I'm not sure. It seems to be working fine for me, but I'll
all right. Okay,
close things up. Try and
yeah, I think it's working now. Okay, so hey everyone, I'm Nash. I've been building in AI for about 10 years now. My last firm was an enterprise AI company, which got acquired in 2019. Post that, we've been building in crypto, and it's been about like 4 very eventful and fun years building in crypto with a couple of my closest friends from college, with a setup called Oxytocin Labs. So as Oxytocin Labs, we've made a lot of drops on the NFT side. We've built a lot of fairly sophisticated stuff with on the DeFi side as well, especially build a lot of DEXs, build a lot of things, on the MEV side, some arbitrage engines as well, very high performance, low latency arbitrage engines. And like when we were building in MEV, we started seeing a huge gap when it comes to when it comes to the democratization of quant fund investment in general. That's where we started imagining what would become DeQuant. So the gap that we recognize there is quant funds are generating very good alpha, irrespective of like how the market regimes are, because they've got a lot of fairly proven market neutral strategies, but these strategies usually come with a very high minimum ticket size, which kind of locks out the retail part of the market entirely, right? Like, so retail investors cannot come in because the minimum ticket size for most of these investments is in the north of like $100,000, $150,000, and so on. So that's where we were like, okay, like there's a lot of retail capital that's going into meme coins and the like. Why not put that capital to better use by setting up an encrypted pipeline between retail users on Solana and connecting that retail capital in an encrypted manner to like the best quant funds on the planet, essentially, right? There have been some people who've actually tried to solve something like this. A lot of people would have heard of Numerai. But the issue with something like Numerai is multi-fold. I mean, they're a great company. We respect them. But their model, when data scientists actually come out and build a great model on Numerai, the model first goes through a 30-day evaluation period. At the end of the 30-day evaluation period, if the correlations are great, then the model gets productionized and approved by the numerized system. And once it gets numerized, the data scientists have to sort of go out there and buy NMR tokens and stake that into their model, right? So the model, it's a BYOM model. Bring your own model, bring your own capital, right? So we wanted to solve that. We were like, okay, if there are great funds out there that are serious about managing money, that are fully compliant, have all the licenses required, and they've been doing this for about like 10 years, 15 years, and some of these funds have been doing it for like 3 decades now, even before crypto even happened, right? So why not take this retail capital and put it into the good hands of these quant funds? And that's where DeQuant happened. And in designing this foolproof end-to-end encrypted pipeline between retail capital and hedge funds, we realized another huge gap, which is where Eliza and the agents came in. We realized a lot of people don't step into this stuff because they don't understand these quant strategies and the math behind it. And that is exactly where like an RAG backed Eliza agent came in, and it made a lot of sense from a technological architecture perspective for us to actually bring in Eliza here. And what we did is we fed in a lot of quant research stuff into the backend of the Eliza agent, right? And we based it on the personality of the Renaissance Technologies founder, Jim Simmons, who recently passed away, who's like an absolute legend, right? So we went ahead, we set up the character file, we pumped in a lot of information about quant research in general. The next step from there was for us to essentially plug a lot of information about specific strategies as well, right? That's where we actually went out there, got detailed performance data from some of these quant partners who are interested in working with us. And we took their annual performance reports for the past few years, and we, converted that into embeddings and fed that to the agent as well, right? So we had a fantastic agent that was actually making great strategy recommendations. It's fairly autonomous. It goes out, asks questions, and asks just enough questions until it has the information it needs to recommend a basket of strategies that work the best for the user who's talking to the agent. Amazing, solved. Then we started imagining the rest of the pipeline, right? Strategies have been recommended. What happens there, right? Like once the recommendations are on, and we'll see all of this in the demo, once the recommendations have been made by the agent, how does the capital find its way to the quant fund, right? And how does that happen in a manner that there is no middleman risk, so that there is no risk that we run away with somebody's money, right? Because stuff like this has happened in crypto. This has happened with Alameda Research. This has happened with FTX. I mean, FTX and Alameda Research was a whole nother scale of this. It was like at a 9 billion scale of this happening, crashed the entire market. It's history. Everyone here knows about it. So that's where we thought, okay, what technology naturally adds another layer of security and unruggability to this, right? And that's where the answer there was very clear. The answer there was a TEE coprocessor, right? A trusted execution environment.
Exactly.
Right. And the answer was very clear. And because it solves problems on both sides. On one side, for the quant fund that's deploying the strategy, it avoids an alpha and code leak, right? It makes sure that when the quant fund is actually deploying a strategy, the strategy is actually not leaking, that nobody is able to copy this strategy. Essentially, private execution of strategies to protect the intellectual property of these quant funds, and that IP is all they have, right? These models get licensed for millions of dollars. So it's very important IP, and there has to be mathematical and hardware level guarantees that the alpha is not going to leak. So that is the problem that it solves on the quant research side of things. The problem that it solves on the other side is essentially for the retail user, the problem that it solves is security, the middleman not having unfair control over that entire pipeline. As the money gets routed from the user to the quant fund, it happens through the agent's TEE wallet. And as we were trying to imagine how to apply trusted execution environment and like how we execute TEEs and use TEEs here and execute a pipeline that has trusted execution environments at its center. That's where Shaw and Eliza were very timely, and I hopped onto Eliza Discord just to check stuff out, and there was this TEE plugin from Eliza that was just going live. I'm like, okay, this is like a sign from the universe. Let's step into this. Let's integrate this into our pipeline. And that's exactly what we did. We went ahead and we integrated trusted execution environments into our pipeline. And that's deployed on Fala right now because Eliza gives us support for that through the TAPPD simulator.
Yeah.
Which makes local development really easy. So this is the pipeline that we actually ended up with. Just to quickly sum that up, we start with the agent, the RAG packed agent, the agent converses, the agent is set up, is aware of all the strategies from all these partners and of quant research in general. The agent takes capital, takes Solana, routes it through a security pipeline to the quant fund, who's then going to manage funds, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the system that we have. The quant fund can then come in. The quant fund has a very strong MOU, a standard, very, very strong MOU with us. They take the capital. The fact that they got to put it, that they got to abide by the lock-in periods that they commit, etc., are very strongly worded in these agreements. And this is only on phase one. In phase one, these guys come in. We're going to see that as well. There's an interface for quant funds to come in, claim the Solana that's been invested by users, take that out and manage capital outside of the system, and then pump profits back into the system based on the lock-ins that they've committed. That is phase one. As we move into phase two, even the execution of these strategies are going to happen inside of trusted execution environments. And there we are building our own proprietary stack called TSEEs, Trusted Strategy Execution Environments, which are TEE-based CVMs that are also going to be running the strategies from these quant funds. So this is in a nutshell what we have. I'll take a quick pause here, Ben, and wait for you to give me a go ahead for the demo, and then I'll hop into the demo.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, I was just actually noting down a bunch of questions because I think, it's such a grand vision that you have for this project. Maybe I'll save the questions until the end because maybe the demo is going to answer some of it. But I think just off the bat, it's cool how I think we're all realizing that this idea of agents is not necessarily kind of complete handoff to something else. It's like, how do you 10x your current capabilities? And these narrow use cases. I think Kenk actually made a post about this recently. It's these narrow use cases that are really valuable at this point. So yeah, I'll get to my other questions later in the demo. Feel free to present. I think it should be as easy as you just clicking on present, and we can.
All right, I'll just
get to it.
I'll just shift this to another screen and just share my screen. Okay. Okay, let me know if you can see my screen, Ben.
Yeah, looks good at that stage, and now we're cooking.
Okay, awesome. So this is the investor-facing platform at DeQuant. Investors who want to interact with the agent and make an investment, hop in here. Towards the end of the demo, we're going to have a short section where we're also going to be talking about the quant fund side, which is like a simple claims page right now. We are evolving that as we speak. But this side is fairly evolved, and we've put in about 4 months of a lot of hard work into this. So now when we go in here, we hit invest now, and this is the novel interface that we've imagined at DeQuant. What this does is that the left side here that you're seeing here is essentially the agent's, it's where you interact with the agent, right? The chat interface. And on the right side here is the workspace where that the agent populates and works with. So we've tried to imagine a blend between CUIs and GUIs here. Because chat interfaces sometimes trade off the experience of the product a little, and we wanted to find a middle ground, so we combined the two. Now I just go ahead and I say something like, hey, quant, make fair assumptions and give me a set of 2 strategies, right? So I go ahead and do that. While the request hops into the backend, we're going to look at the Fala backend. I think this is what makes DeQuant a little special as well, because like I said, TEs are a very integral part of what we do. And the fact that we have a provider like Fala today that gives us decentralized CVMs, CVMs that are part of a decentralized network, adds another layer of security to like our entire stack, right? So we have this, and these are essentially the attestations of the very verifiable attestations of the CVM that we're using. This is the RTMRT hash, which is essentially taking all the dependencies of the CVM and just creating a hash out of it and sharing that publicly so that people know if anything changes in the environment where the agent is operating. So we have this here, and these are the logs right here, right? So we can see the action classification that's happening here. On this front, we've got two different variations that we've built out. We've got our own Anthropic processor, which essentially has a parsing logic built in. But the version that you're seeing right now just loads Anthropic into Eliza's runtime. And then the intent detection and action detection is being done very well by elizaOS itself, right? So we can see that the recommend action is the action that's actually been identified by the agent. If we hop back onto the front-end interface, voila, we've got the recommendations here, right? So we've got, I asked for two strategies. It understood my intent, and it gave me two strategies. One strategy here, both strategies here are actually crypto-specific. Now I can just go ahead and say, hey, don't give me both strats based in crypto. Give me one crypto and one non-crypto strat. So I do this, let it do its thinking. Let's see if it comes back with a result there. But we've got two strategies here. These are the agent picked strategies that we're looking at on our recommendation canvas. See, the agent actually clearly understood my prompt, right? It went ahead and it was actually able to tap into its knowledge base of strategies to update the strategy basket that it had recommended. We were seeing both crypto strategies before. Because I asked for it to go back and change one of these strategies to a fiat strategy, it came back with the triple Q enhanced protection strategy, which essentially tracks the top 100 stocks on NASDAQ, right? So now I have, and you can see that the agent is really good at even like, even the weights of each of these strategies, the weights add up to 100 here, right? So we've got this, we've got some Sharpe ratios, we've got an aggregate Sharpe ratio, Sortino ratio here. Now what I can do, this is the part, like until this point in our flow, what we've experienced is purely RAG based, like an RAG based Eliza agent with, our partner strategy sort of fed into its backend, right? Mm-hmm. Now what we're going to see next is, and these are all the strategies that are in its RAG backend right now. These are like real strategies from real partners. You can see that some of these strategies have very reliably delivered some unbelievable alpha here. Like the top strategy that we have actually delivered 144% last year, right? So these are the strategies that are fed in the backend. Now I go ahead and I say finalize investment. I say 0.01 sol. I go ahead and I hit invest now. This is integrated with Solana DevNet right now. It's going to go make the investment and give me a confirmation receipt essentially. Here we go. So went ahead, made an investment, came back with the transaction hash, and this is all done by the agent. And this agent is essentially like the TE-based autonomous agent that you're looking at, right? So it's gone ahead, it's made the investment. I can also show this transaction hash to you on SolScan.
So that's an investment in the strategy or in the underlying
basket of strategies. In the basket of strategy. In the two strategies that we've looked at. And the allocations are essentially 55% of what I invested goes into multi-strategy crypto alpha, and 45% goes into triple Q enhanced protection. Mm-hmm. So that's a great question, because that essentially highlights another like USP that we bring forth that we haven't seen anybody else in the market do, which is that we give you multi-fund exposure from one entry point. this agent essentially interfaces with 5 quant funds right now. As we grow, that number could grow all the way to 500. But the idea is essentially to get the best quant funds and have the agent churn through all of their strategies and their performances. Take into account how the market is doing at a given point of time, because all of that is also built into the agent's RAG knowledge base, and then go ahead and make a recommendation of strategies based on the user's risk level and like the kind of demands, like returns that they're looking for every year.
Right? So is the agent picking out these strategies like from the existing ones, or is there some level of customization as well that goes into it, other than the weight that gets chosen?
So these strategies are fairly standard. So what we're looking at here is, but the amount of information that the agent has about each of these strategies and their performances across different years is insane. So it is using all of that information to actually come back with this set of recommendations. Now I can actually customize my basket as much as I want, like I just showed you, right? Like it recommended both crypto strategies. I'm not in the mood for something that risky. I want something a little bit more balanced. I go back and I say, give me one crypto strategy and one fiat strategy. And it did exactly that. So I can customize a basket, but at a strategy level, there isn't much customization that I can do, because these are fairly standard strategies. And the strength of these strategies are the fact that they're so standardized and that they've been doing so well for the past 5 years, 6 years, 10 years.
Sure.
Right? Which is like a lifetime when you compare it to, like, say, crypto timelines and horizons, right? So
no, that makes sense, because one of my questions was like, I initially thought that you were using the LLM to basically help create these custom strategies, and I think we all know that that's one of the challenges, by using purely an LLM to create an investment strategy. I mean, who hasn't asked ChatGPT to, should I buy on this chart or not? And it's always a bit useless. So I think it makes sense to like that kind of processing level between the user and the strategy. Before you kind of get into it a little bit more, you mentioned you want to bring on more of these quant organizations to supply strategies. Do you have any kind of incentives for them? I mean, what is the way that you're going to get more of these people on board? Because clearly that's kind of that's a hugely valuable part of what the final user facing product is to you guys. So I just be curious to hear a bit about that.
100%. I think like in general, I feel LLMs and like I think I don't know if it's like a marketing ploy from the OpenAIs and Anthropics of the world, but I feel LLMs are heavily oversold, and that aligns with what you just said, because LLMs are great at doing language stuff and in handling tasks that are not very complex. But the strategies that we're looking at here from our quant funds are not LLM based strategies. These are not avant-garde strategies that like a noob somewhere is trying. These are like very proven strategies from people who are ex Goldman Sachs, ex Princeton guys. Like these are the best of the best on the planet. These guys have been running these strategies on the back of a plethora of like statistical models for a long time now. So LLMs will also come into the repertoire as they actually like move forward, and they'll build algorithms that are LLM powered. But I don't think that's happening today because LLMs are not there yet, because it's too complex a task for them to be able to pull in that kind of alpha based on like how the market is doing and all of that. So these strategies, so what we are trying to solve is a task that LLMs are really good at, which is like identifying the strategies that are going to work for a user, pull money through a TE and securely route that to a world which is great at managing money, but does not necessarily leverage LLMs to do that. Right. So that's how we thought about it. So that's what we have. So the investment is through now. I'll just. All right. So this is the transaction 6 minutes ago. This is the wallet, and the coolest part about this wallet is that it is a trusted execution environment based wallet on the Fala network. So not a single human being on the planet has the access to the private key here. The private key is secure in a Fala CVM, the one that we just saw, the Fala CVM that I was just showing right here. It's actually secure in the secure enclave with hardware level guarantees that the private key is never ever going to leave that secure enclave, right? And that's this wallet right here. This is not a human being's wallet. So this is what we have, and like once the investment actually happens, the other side is essentially the quant fund facing side, which is what we've just started building. But there are no agents here per se. But what this looks like is this, right? So say Quant Alpha Fund is logged in, and this is their wallet. They can either claim all the sol invested across all their strategies and start managing it as governed by the strong MOUs that they have with us. Tomorrow they can deploy the strategy inside a TSE, or they can make a claim at a strategy level and then manage the money. Right. So this is what we have at a high level for y'all.
So what is claimable? Sorry, by the quant?
The Solana, right? The 0.01 sol that I put in here, the trusted execution environment has a secure database, and this database has allocation, so it's going to be completely unmanipulatable. We're also building systems where every code upgrade to the Fala agent is going to happen after a DAO approval of the RTMR3, of the resulting RTMR3 / code hash. Right, so code upgrades inside the Fala CVM cannot be done by just anybody, which adds another layer of unbreakability on top of our infrastructure and our stack.
Okay, so the quant can't just like claim everything that's in their strategy directly. No. Okay.
So this is so you've got like 55%, 45% allocation here. For ease of calculation, say we had invested 1 sol. Then 0.55 sol would essentially go to multi-strategy crypto alpha. So when the quant fund running that strategy logs in, they would essentially see multi-strategy crypto alpha here, and they would see the total across all the users who've invested into this strategy. And they can just make a claim here, and they can start managing the capital.
Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense. So that claim there it goes into their sort of vault or something that they have already set up. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, nice.
So there are going to be two paths for that. One path is going to be for it to get routed automatically into a trusted strategy execution environment tomorrow, where the strategy is going to be running with the code of the quant fund and the quant fund's IP being logged inside of a secure enclave. And the other path for this capital is for it to just go out of the system to a whitelisted wallet, where the quant fund is going to be managing the capital. So in this route, we've completely eliminated middleman risk, the risk that us who like manage the capital from the user to the quant fund become malicious. That risk is eliminated even in phase 1, even today. And then that capital sort of moves to the quant fund, and we've got a very strong MOU with them, and they start managing the capital and they go out from there. And all of these quant funds have like very good brand. They're fully out there. They manage in the north of like 50, 60 M each. So the money is going to like very safe hands here. So those are the two routes that the money can take from here.
I think, that's going to be, I think, one of the challenges is, getting through that trust, that secondary trust layer. Because I think you've done, a great setup, with the TEE and how that's, eliminating the middleman. And of course, any respectable quant fund, should have good, checks and balances in place and whatnot. But yeah, I think that's, it's cool, the product that you built around it, but it's, there's definitely some room to build some credibility, I think, in the go-to-market, which as a go-to-market guy, I know how that is. I can really feel what it is that you are going to be going through and what you need to do. I think, so is this, what's your kind of timeline? You said this is on DevNet. Is there going to be something available for people to use to kind of test out themselves?
Right. So we just took the prototype live on virtuals as well, and we dropped the DeQuant token, and the idea is to actually hit the market like in a month or two with at least phase 1 going live with some very trusted partners. Even TSEEs we've started covering ground on. Even with TSEEs, we've actually covered a significant amount of ground, because Fala's CVMs are actually very, very very, very easy to use and very, very easy to get one's head around. So we realized, okay, like if we can actually do like a like some of these quant partners actually run their strategies on top of like their strategies are built on R and Python. They need a lot of data APIs, etc. So as long as we can audit these data partners and just get in these data pipelines and like drop these data pipelines into these trusted execution environments, we're good to go with TSEs as well. So from that standpoint, even TSEs is not a pipeline dream, pun unintended, but the idea now is essentially for us to like go out there and like also deploy some capital into TSEs. But we're going to start with phase one, and there is progress on TSEs already as well, and then that will go live subsequently.
Nice. Well, sounds like you've got a lot figured out. I think I kind of got a chance to ask a couple of my questions already. I just kind of want to give a little Eliza plug here. I think what you're doing is a cool example of why a framework such as elizaOS is inherently valuable. It's being powered by these LLMs, but being able to execute, be apparent and do things in other environments, kind of making it the key to unlocking the full capabilities of connecting the dots essentially. And I think another cool thing that you've done is it's a great example of one of the plugins. Plugins are one of the things that really makes Eliza stand out, right? It's like gives you access to so many tools, to so many functionalities. And yeah, the TEE plugin, which I guess you're using, probably the Fowler plugin as well. It's super cool to see, especially with V2 coming up. I know with this, it's been a little bit of rumors under the surface about when that's coming. I'm not here to confirm anything, but I think it's we've definitely seen kind of projects like yourself and really tried to improve the next iteration of elizaOS for the future. Like the secure environments is a huge part of it, trying to really make that natively integrated into the framework. So when that's available, definitely give that a try and kind of give us your thoughts on it as well. And second of all is the plugin marketplace. Like we're really upping the dev experience on V2. You've probably seen some screenshots from Shaw online, but it's going to be, if you think we've probably got a little bit, quite a lot of plugins right now, it's a little bit hard to see sort of what's on offer, what's available. And the UI that we're coming out with is really going to make it clear, like, what's available. It's going to be way more like a marketplace. And I think there are some plugins that even we have already that, DeQuant could benefit from, kind of these more sort of trading plugins, being able to maybe take that execution side of thing of taking the funds and putting them into sort of a specified vault, kind of autonomously as well. I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing ideas out here, but hopefully this will be a good thing for you guys.
Just to add to that as well, Ben, I think Eliza is a fantastic orchestration framework, maybe the best out there. I mean, we all know how hard the team also works and how active the team is, and we've actually gone ahead and taken the TEE plugin that Eliza provides, and we've actually built a few functionalities on top of that as well as an independent TEE manager plugin. So as we move forward, the idea is to open source a lot of this. So I guess we will be pushing this TEE manager plugin in some form or the other to GitHub or to the Eliza GitHub as well.
Yeah, very happy to hear that. That's we love all the plugins that are made available to the community, and I mean, we've started putting together a list of use cases kind of that people get by combining the different plugins, and I think we've got like 30 already of just different things people are unlocking with agents, AI in a more like tangible sense, right? Like people are done with creating Studio Ghibli images and having Zapier with ChatGPT attached to it. So it's cool to have examples like this of real sort of agentic behavior. And yeah, very much looking forward to everything you guys have in the future. We normally schedule about half an hour per person. You had the floor to yourself today. So before we wrap up, I had my turn to plug Eliza stuff. Is there anything else that you kind of want to add before we close up?
Oh, for sure. Thanks for that, Ben. So I guess we're looking for more quants to sort of come in and collaborate with us to deploy their models into our TSEE framework, for them to just come in and work with us to process some of this retail capital. We're also looking for retailers to sort of come in and work with us, and deploy their capital with us into these fantastic quant fund partners that we have. So we're looking. So please slide into our DMs, and we would love to have a conversation with you. And if you want to be a bigger part of our journey, feel free to check our Twitter bio, where we've got a virtuals link. You can go in there and buy some DeQuant tokens, and use the product, give us feedback, be a bigger part of the community as well. So that's my little addition to this.
Brilliant. Well, Nash, thanks very much. Great example of implementation of Eliza, among other great examples of AI tech that's kind of going on right now, powering what we do. Really stoked to follow along the progress of how everything goes, and for everyone here listening, if you're a quant and you want to be part of building a AI quant agent, feel free, like Nash said, hit them up, and follow along the elizaOS X account and Discord for more updates about what we're doing for more cool projects like DeQuant. And yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. See you later.
Thank you.
Bye bye.